Something happened on a recent tour that really tested my patience and professionalism. Hi guys. I'm 21F, a Bulgarian tour guide who accompanies groups to Sicily. On a recent trip, one woman who was traveling alone, mid-30s, was consistently oversleeping. The first day after we arrived, we had a day trip to Etna and Taormina, for which we depart at 8 a.m., as we do all other day tours. I make sure that all tourists are informed of the departure times on the bus the day before, and they also have my number to call in case they forget, so I can remind them. They also all have printed out pamphlets with the schedule made by the travel agency that I hand out that has the time for departure on it. All of the group was on time, except one woman. She was late by 10 minutes, which, okay, maybe she got caught up in something and was late. I excused it, then mentioned to the whole bus in the mic that I do not tolerate lateness beyond 15 minutes at most in case of emergency like a forgotten possession, and that I must always be called and informed in case someone is running late. Trip went by okay otherwise. The next day this same tourist was late again, by 25 minutes. Almost an entire half hour. I called her twice to no answer, and we were just about to leave without her when she came out running and got on the bus. She got lucky, as the receptionist of the hotel asked me about a missing piece of info on the rooming list and earned her some time. I reminded everyone again that I will not be waiting anymore for late tourists in the morning, and waking up on time is their responsibility. When we came back that evening, she asked me if I could make sure to wake her up on time. I reminded her a third time that I'm not responsible for waking people up. Everyone gets a printed itinerary with departure times, and I announce everything the day before. She kept saying, no, just knock on my door if I'm not out by 8:15, and I kept repeating I really can't do that for everyone, please set an alarm. Well, on the day we were visiting Syracuse, she didn't show up. I waited 15 minutes after the supposed departure time, called her twice to no response, then left with the bus and the rest of the group. She called me in a panic about an hour later asking where we were. I explained the situation calmly. She got angry and said that I had one job and that I cheated her out of the money she paid to go on that day trip. She missed the whole day trip and was furious the next day. Later she told the rest of the group that I abandoned her and also called my agency, leaving a bad review about me. Share your words please. Comment 1. I'm an avid traveler. I'd be angry to sit on the bus every morning waiting on someone who is chronically late. Time is money, and she'd be wasting mine. If she's worried about hers, she needs to set an alarm. If she complained to other guests, I guarantee you they weren't feeling bad for her. NTA. Comment 2. NTA. If you were a cruise ship operator, her lack of being able to be on time would cause her to be left behind at a port. Watch YouTube videos of cruise passengers who are special and think they can hold up the entire group. They get left. As long as you can document her late antics with your tour agency, you should be fine. Also have them add language in their contracts about being late, and it's not the tour operator and guide's responsibility to wake people up and ensure they are on time. Comment 3. NTA. How was she not embarrassed after day 1? Repeated behavior like that truly shows you do not care about anyone but yourself. Also, she took an hour to call you. So not only was she late, she was getting later each day. That's outrageous behavior. Lately, things have been tense between me and my family, and it all comes down to one recurring topic I can't seem to escape. I've, F27, been in the church my whole life. I took some space when I graduated from high school because I ended up going out of state. My family is pretty close-knit, and we're from a small town in the south. About 3 years ago, I bought the land across from the church and began living here. My mom owns the acre at the bottom of my hill. My grandmother stays about 2 houses down. It felt perfect, but I knew it was coming. About 4 months ago, my mom started pushing harder for me to come back to church. A small position in the kitchen, feeding children after Sunday school. I've explained to her before what my issue is. I won't draw it out. God and I just have a different relationship. I feel that's my right as an individual person entitled to my own beliefs and religious choices. My grandma and mom feel as if God is good all the time, and he's always on time. Which is fine. They don't like me feeling differently. They don't like me not present at church. They don't like our community making note of my absence. It makes us look bad. I've been working in the kitchen and leaving promptly after everything is tidied before service. Well, I guess that's gotten old. My mom jumped down my throat Sunday saying my life is falling to pieces because God is trying to get my attention. Nothing is going to work for me until I come back to church and rejoin the choir. She says I'm fighting God, and he is not going to let me win. I didn't take that well, as I'm irritated with circling back to this conversation. Maybe bad things happen to me just because bad things do happen, and they gotta have somebody to happen to. I left her house after lashing out that what she was saying had nothing to do with what I was discussing with her. My air conditioner in my house broke. She called me earlier tonight, said she was sorry and not trying to upset me. She just wanted me to know her opinion and basically that God has been sending her signs that if I come back to church and rejoin the choir my life will be grand. I told her I would come back, but I'm not coming back for, or expecting, that. She got upset saying I'm negative and incapable of thinking and believing positive anymore. How as a child I was so positive and able to manifest. I just feel it's messed up to think going to church is the magic cure-all. Which probably reads as negative now that I think about it. But surely someone understands where I'm coming from. Say I come back to church, and I don't get $100,000 a year, a husband, and 6 kids. Then what will she say? I wasn't believing hard enough, praying enough, tithing enough? Comments below before leaving the video please. Comment 1. I live in Australia so know nothing about the Bible belts as we are very easygoing where religion is concerned. You are an adult but are being treated like a child who is incapable of making up her own mind. Your mother and grandmother are from a different era and truly believe what they are saying, but you really should be congratulated for your critical thinking and coming to your own conclusions. The idea of a God who punishes you for your beliefs is not a loving God at all, and then I read that you have to tithe. Comment 2. NTA. So her God thought it was awesome to allow me to be raped at 4 years old at a Christian daycare. What could I have possibly done to have deserved that? It has severely and negatively affected my life, even when I was an active and practicing Christian. Singing in the church choir and leading the children's choir didn't prevent God from apparently continuing to punish me. Guess her God just hates people like us for no reason. What a loving God. You may want to consider moving. Comment 3. No, it's a generational curse. Your mom sinned so badly that God punished you for it. Yes, that is actually a thing a preacher preached extensively. My adoptive and abusive mom went, see. Every time I punish you I'm beating the devil out of you like I'm supposed to. It is not my fault you had evil parents. Story 3. Good morning dear people. I, 20F, was at my BF's house, 20M, yesterday. I'm on my period and keep a few tampons in my purse, but had a ton in the bag I brought over, along with my change of clothes. When I went over I went to talk to his mom in the kitchen, and we talked for a few minutes and I left my bag there. I went to his room and he was playing games at his desk and I was on his bed. I started bleeding and went to the bathroom and realized I bled trough my underwear and a little trough my pants. I checked my purse and saw I had no tampons as I forgot to refill it since I had filled the duffel bag. I realized I couldn't just go to the kitchen as I now didn't have pants and I couldn't even leave the bathroom because someone might be there. I called my BF and he told me to let him finish his game. I asked him how long that would take. He said that it would be like 20-ish minutes till he could help me since him and his friends just got into a new game. I asked if he expected for me to just wait cramping in the bathroom him and his sister share for 20 minutes. He told me that me not having tampons in my purse wasn't his problem and that he wasn't going to sell his game for me. I said that he was being really mean. When he finally came, I told him I was upset that he made me wait, and he told me that he didn't know what I expected him to do and that I needed to manage myself better. I said even if I did, I still would have bled trough, which is why I couldn't leave. He told me that I could have figured it out. I told him that I literally couldn't, and he just said whatever. I went home a little after that, and I'm starting to think that I could have planned a little better for it. Comment 1, NTA. Yes, you could have planned better, but we've all been there. Making a mistake, thinking you had tampons in your purse, is not the same as being a cruel, insensitive, evil, obnoxious human being. Your BF is a complete and total R. He could give lessons in being a champion R. Does he always bully you into thinking that you are somehow to blame when he treats you like shat? Comment 2. Full transparency, I dried up at just the thought of having a man like this in my life. It's such a small thing, but to be that selfish and unreliable is genuinely concerning behavior on his part. Imagine him in a real-life crisis or something more important. He's shown you clearly that you cannot rely on him or feel safe to make mistakes. Get out now and move on with your life, like for real. Comment 3. Now imagine that you're married to him and you need him to bring you a diaper for the baby, and he won't do it because he's busy playing his game. That's the kind of life you can expect if you stay with him. Story 4. A bit over a year and a half ago, me and my husband gave birth to our son. It was our first kid and we were incredibly nervous and scared we were gonna screw things up. The first week with him back were horrid. He cried all the time and it was ridiculously exhausting, but I'd be lying if I said we didn't know what we were getting into. At the start, my husband's BFs was amazing. She would come round all the time, bring us food, spend time with our son babysitting so we could some time away, and really appreciated the help, and she seemed to genuinely love my son. When my maternity leave was finished and I went back to work, she offered even more of her time to help with babysitting instead of me hiring someone. I said that I couldn't make her do that and she surely had other things to do. She said it was fine, she works from home on her online businesses anyway, and she even refused pay. And honestly, I didn't mind any of the help until now. I recently noticed on our doorbell that she had been coming in at night while I was doing occasional night shifts. I thought it was strange, but free help, so I never confronted it, as weird as I felt it was. But yesterday when I came home from a shift and found my son playing with her and found that he kept referring to her as Mama, I think something kinda broke inside of me, and I told her to get out. She protested and asked what's wrong, and I just asked her to leave and to not come here again, and she accused me of being jealous and that I was scared I was being replaced. She pointed out that if I was a more involved parent, my husband and son wouldn't need a second wife, and I screamed at her, told her if she knows what's good for her she should get out. She finally did. My husband came home a bit after and I told him about, and he just shrugged and didn't say anything. But my mother-in-law called and had a go at me, basically repeating her talking points and saying that I needed to apologize. And honestly, I'm at a lost cause at this point. I feel really bad and felt like went too far. What do you think about this story? Any words? Comment 1: You have a husband problem. And she lets herself in your house? Remind hubby that he took vows with you and ignore mother-in-law. This woman wants to replace you. Be forewarned. Comment 2: Second wife, not second mother. Just what exactly kind of attention does your husband need from her that you are not providing? That's a weird thing to say. Seems like you and hubby need a talk, because if his response is, well, silence, then maybe he's afraid to say something. Not implying cheating or anything, but maybe there are some issues going on that you are not aware of and he is failing to communicate with you. Comment 3: NTA. You have bigger problems than whether you're an R. She lets herself in, so she has a key? At night time while you're not there? And hangs out with your husband and baby all the time? WTF? And sees herself as second wife? So she's sleeping with him? Thank you for watching.